We go over now to best storyline of the year. Last year it was just categorized as best feud, and me, Davey, and Wei chose CM Punk against Drew McIntyre. Braden, you went with The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. So we will see. What is the 2025 winners? Starting off with Davey.
I went with Hangman's Redemption. I think it was the best told story. I think there's a reason why people call Hangman Page the main character of AEW, mainly because I think you can look at his story right from, before the company even started. I think this character journey he's been on is all very logical. We understand why he turned bad. Like he had his life ruined by Swerve. He lost the title. He disappears. He comes back and Swerve is the champion. There was that great kind of them starting to get together. I loved that scene backstage where they're like yelling at each other and it's like, you burnt down my house. You deserved it. I know. Like, it was awesome. And I think anyone who says AEW can't and don't tell stories don't understand nuance. They need to be hit over the head with what the story is. And I think his story is very clear if you watch the program weekly. And it got to the point where I think when the Owen Hart Cup was first announced and Ospreay said, I'm going to win the cup and go to All in Texas, I think everyone's thought was that is the main event. It's going to be Moxley, Ospreay at All In. And then the Hangman story was like gradually bubbling underneath. And by the time you got to that Double or Nothing match, you're like, no, Hangman makes sense. He needs to have that redemption, which goes all the way back from losing the title to Punk at Double or Nothing a couple of years before. He needs that redemption because he needs to save AEW. And really, he is the main character and he is the only one who can save AEW. I thought it was such a well-told story.
I went with Tam Nakano's retirement that they told over several months, culminating in the All-Star Grand Queendom match with Saya Kamatani at the end of April. That to me was, up until like a week ago, probably the best retirement match I have seen. I think the rewind show that Wei and I did of the best retirement matches was probably one of my favorites we did this year, and it was getting to really dissect this match in particular. That was just, it was so incredible. The entrances by both, the black and white dichotomy that the two presented in these matches, and then the closing scene of the two, and it just fades to black at the end was just, to me, it was like, this is the height of what a retirement match could be. And then we get Tanahashi and Okada. That is very much it's equal. So I just thought overall the handling of Tam Nakano's retirement was just outstanding this year. Best storyline.
I wrote down here Hangman versus John Moxley in the lead up to all in, but it very much is exactly what Davey said. It's Page's redemption story from the beginning of the year all the way to the end. I don't know how much. I think you have to give them a lot of credit that like a lot of it was probably planned out, but I can't imagine they would have planned every single one of those steps from just like how well the Swerve Page matches were received to just the house burning being as risky for that product, but yet like well remembered at this point. I feel like I could confidently say, and how they were able to somehow change that into somehow just like making Page feel like really that he's the Tony Stark of like, this particular end game. You needed the John Moxley to be a Thanos, but you needed your other guy on the other end to feel like, every bit is equal, if not somebody, more obviously more beloved than the audience. And I don't know if they had always planned for Page to be that person, but they couldn't have found a better person by the end. And I just love the sort of like competition between he and Ospreay for that role, because both of them you could have bought in that space. But some, like in the course of just the early part of this year, it became really obvious that Page was going to be that guy, and that just came through, I think, the great storytelling, but also his own performances and just really everything in the package. So yeah, one for me.
I go to the same story. Like that whole story arc was awesome. I think all the lead up into the Owen Hart, you looked like Ospreay kind of was the more over wrestler. Like he's got the chants, the hot music, like people seem to be a bit more into him, but deep down we're like, no, the main character needs to finish his story. And I think from Hangman, okay, they maybe dropped the ball a little bit with the run by the end of it, but the whole lead up to this Red Dead Redemption of Hangman was awesome. And kind of like, we went to Texas, and in the build of this, we were like, we have to go to this show. This is awesome. We need to go. And it was the deciding factor of like, alone to be there for that story was like why we decided to do and make that trip. But the whole anxious millennial cowboy character, it was runner for my character too, because in today's age, there's a lot of fake cowboys like Morgan Wallen and all that. And people forget what a real fucking cowboy means, hardships and determination, working hard, morals. And there's a lot of country music had a big resurgence this year, but it's not for the right reasons. And I feel like that was like this liberal cowboy coming in wearing pink in the Owen Hart Foundation.
Driving an EV truck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like I just feel like sometimes wrestling fans or people watching, like the macho-ness and everything, and Hangman's always delivered on like what is right and wrong. And I felt like the story arc of this was just really good. And then you mentioned like the promo after a Grand Slam, and it just like really solidified of like, wow, this character arc and story was just so good. I really loved it.
Son of a tobacco farmer who, as a young man, grew up with immigrant workers and gave him values and respect for his fellow man.
Yeah,
like
fuck
that
being
cowboys. Said, as he's coming out for the main event of All In, it's just awesome.
Like, I think there was a real like by the end of that, people were they didn't even care about anything. We just needed to see him beat Moxley, and I thought they really hit it home.
I think it's also worth pointing out that like in this climate, it's really easy to just bite your tongue about, political issues that you disagree with, because when you speak up against it, you're just asking for just a tsunami of hate coming your way. And when those ICE ads aired on AEW programming, he like that's not just taking a stance with the government. That's like with your network as well, that he opted to at least, and Brody King as well. Like these are, these are times where it's like, it's a lot easier to just ignore and be quiet. And it's a lot tougher to actually speak up and bring up these issues in a public forum that is only going to bring you, it's going to give you a swarm of negativity, even against those that are happy that you're doing so.
Throughout the month of January, you have the chance to lock in your subscription at the Post Wrestling Cafe for all of 2026 before the price increase takes effect February the 1st. Simply sign up before February 1st and you will lock in that price all year long. If that's not enough, this month we have the annual Best and Worst of show as we get together with the Poison Rana crew to look back at 2025. We're also doing live watch-alongs of the Royal Rumbles from 1990 and 1995 with Brandon from New Jersey, a retrospective on the Tanahashi-Okada rivalry, plus reaction to Wrestle Kingdom 20, a review of TNA's debut on AMC, and much more, including TNA Genesis, UFC 324. It's all found at postwrestlingcafe.com.
Worst storyline of the year. Last year, you two, Davey and Braden, had Adam Cole versus MJF. Way, you chose The Elite versus AEW, and I had a slight modification, The Elite versus Tony Khan. That was highlights of 2024. I will start this one. My worst storyline of the year is, you know what? Davey, you start this one. I'm lost.
I have a lot, and I'd like, if they're not covered, to go back to them after everyone said their thing. But I'm going to go for Seth Rollins' injury. Mainly because,
by the way, this is exactly why we expanded it from worst feud to worst or best storyline, because it doesn't have to just be about in service of a match or an entirety of two people fighting.
And obviously, I know John is going to have some gripes with this one as well. But for me, it was and we're going to see it with season 2 of Unreal, just the glee they seem to have, like the patting themselves on the back. Oh, we did it. The ruse of the century. But what did you actually achieve? Like, from a story point of view, from a character point of view, CM Punk's finished the match. He's holding the title. We're in a stadium. Like, the entrance is half a football field away. Seth Rollins comes out after the match, drops the crutches, starts dancing his way to the ring, and Punk has to stand there for 5 minutes being shocked. Like, what advantage did Seth Rollins get from faking an injury? If he came out on the crutches, came into the ring, and was like, I may be beaten up now, but as soon as I am healthy, I'm going to come after that title. and then kicks him in the balls, whacks him with the crutch, cashes in, pins him 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a ruse. But what, you fooled us by being injured for 4 weeks, and then you weren't injured, and then you walk to the ring to have a match, and you do your full entrance. It's like Punk should have just gone, all right, mate, see you later, and gone out the ring and left. It didn't make sense, but I think what annoyed me the most with it is like, we got ya, we're great. What a moment we created. No, it was terrible. It was just bad storytelling.
Well, I mean, that to me is like, that is going to trump like storyline inconsistencies are not going to be at the top of the list versus like your holy shit moments that they want for social engagement, for like, that is all they want, is just to shock people. And if it's not a shocking moment, we're going to tell you it's a shocking moment anyway. And that's going to become like when you see Unreal, and we haven't seen the episode yet, obviously, like that's going to be just how they are going to brand it. Nobody saw this coming. I mean, yeah, if you were not paying attention to anything for a month, you wouldn't have known it was happening. But that was, that is what they are doing. It's these shows that how can we get something that will be in our world a viral moment, and that trumps everything for these types of shows. And it was Rollins on the first night and Brock the second night, and that was the strict reason for it. Like, let's do something shocking. Is that your pick?
That's my pick. I would like, if anything's not mentioned, I want to exercise some demons at the end. But I'm in the similar vein. Like, I think surprises are great when they are organic and you can pull them off, but when they are the strict function, like it is just to confuse you or to do something just for the sake of it, that drives me nuts. And this wasn't my pick, but my honorable mention is Mike Santana losing the title to Frankie Kazarian, and then TNA going to Fightful and trying to work a story that he was not going to show up at the pay-per-view or the TNA Plus special on the Friday night. Like, to go to that level, and then he just, like, that was stupid, because it's like promising our biggest character is going to no-show our event that you have to pay to see is next level idiocy. To me, that was like, TNA may have like evolved and changed, and it's much more widely approved of by fans, but man, is that TNA DNA still in there somewhere when I saw that. So that one was particularly irksome.
TNA, yeah.
Nothing's going to be worse to me, though, than the John Cena heel turn this year. And it's kind of... I regret the fact that in the lead up to this, we did have someone on our forum who threw out this idea of Cena turning heel. And Wayne and I were very negative on this, of like, why would you turn him now? And then I saw the turn at Elimination Chamber, and it was done incredible. And I came back from my vacation, and when my first thing was saying, I got it wrong, because this turn was excellent, and there's all these ideas they can do. I so regret that apology, and I officially revoke my apology, because I was goddamn right, okay? And it was a stupid idea, and it would have been so much more effective if it was CM Punk joining The Rock, getting his Mania main event, going to Saudi Arabia, because I came back to make money, not friends. And I think that would have been a stronger... the Cena heel turn, they could have done something with it. They had the pieces in place after Toronto. But my God, was it just... it was the biggest character you could turn, and they whiffed on it. And then Cena pretty much stating as much. They had no idea. They just wanted to create a fucking moment. That's literally what he said. They wanted a moment, and then you guys figure it out. Well, you figure it out with half the puzzle pieces, and this rapper that's just going to take off and suddenly is the key to this entire storyline for the whole year.
Moments mean nothing without story. Like, otherwise every film would just skip to Act 3. Like, because we'll give you the finale. What? Why bother watching all the films leading up to Endgame when you could just watch the final battle?
There's no Oscar
makes
for
no sense.
best scene.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to judge something in totality. And for whatever reason, maybe it's because wrestling is written week to week. There's just so much emphasis on just like...
But the New Day turn, it was amazing. Like, I thought it was great. Like, if you were going to turn them, that's the way to do it. But turn is only as good as what it sets up. It's a change in the tempo of the story, but you ultimately have to have the stake that accompanies that sizzle. So to me, like, the Cena heel turn is, Cena's going to be the person you remember of this year from a content standpoint. And listen, they stuck the landing in a big way. The babyface run was great at the end, but this heel run was just, I thought it was horrific. great.
I completely agree. Like we were there at Chamber in Toronto, one of the best moments of the year, one of the best moments in WWE.
Of your life.
But like just that happening, we knew it was happening. The crowd knew. It was like, whoa, this is crazy. What could happen? You had people buzzing of like, whoa, we got to tune in next week and this tomorrow or Raw or whatever. And then he cuts a promo like the week after, and then it was like, oh, okay. And then it didn't land at all, and it
Just
just
in a toxic relationship.
yeah, it didn't hit at
And then
all.
Kit Wilson, a light went over his head. Wait a minute, that's great. That's a great line.
It just felt like they wanted that big moment. And okay, yeah, it was great. The moment was awesome. One of my favorite moments in wrestling this year, maybe ever attending. Like actually being there and him turning was like, whoa. But then the just zero follow-up. Like the creative just completely dropped the ball. And then on top of that, the babyface turn on SmackDown was awful. I cannot understand anyone who's watched this show for years or maybe just getting into wrestling and just let that slide of like, wait, we're doing that now? We're just breaking fourth walls because you guys suck at writing. I just could not. I thought it wasn't real. When you told me you got to watch this segment from SmackDown, I was like, I cannot believe I couldn't even.
You're waiting for the swerve.
Yeah,
right?
I was
You
waiting
think
for him to.
He's duping him.
It's like no chance that this is actually something that they would put on TV. And
This company that was publicly advocating that we should be considered for the Emmys because of our storytelling, well, then that is the standard you want to be held to.
Get a Razzie.
This was like, yes, you got to the end point you should have in the laziest way possible. It was literally you're a babyface today.
I couldn't believe it. Like John Cena is supposed to be the GOAT. They keep telling us, and they fumbled it so bad that like he's cutting promos that he should have cut maybe like 10, 15 years ago, and they don't make sense now. And then on top of that, The Rock and Travis Scott were the pose, like the epic photo of them at Chamber. It's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And then The Rock doesn't show up, and there's no reference to it whatsoever. It was just so baffling, and I cannot, like, people trying to defend it to me in friends' conversations, like, but it was good, the heel run. No, it was so bad.
As the Stone Cold Diplomat put it, it was okay. It was okay.
Exactly. It was brutal. The moment really, really hit. But then there was like almost a year left of this guy's career that I felt they really dropped the ball. And again, they're telling you this is the GOAT, and they didn't treat him like he was.
Way.
I guess mine is somewhat related to it, and it's one particular feud or story or whatever you want to call it, and that's John Cena getting CM Punk to go to Saudi Arabia to get his title shot. I just think it's incredibly distasteful. Number
Didn't
one,
bring tears to your eyes.
Greatest
Yeah,
wrestling moment of the year. Of life.
of his
ever.
life. It's his favorite wrestling moment ever. Yeah,
You
but
got to be trolling with that one, right?
But just the idea that like they would use this. I mean, I'm more offended because of how much I think damage it does to the CM Punk character that we all sort of like still think about and know and love. And you know, basically saying to Punk, you have to go against your morals in order to earn this title shot. And Punk not really putting up any sort of struggle or fight. He's just like, okay, I'll do it. And you know, everything that took place in that press conference, like it's not even necessarily so much a part of the storyline, but like what was just the fact that it was Punk not really having any sort of answer to even this question. And I just think the overall damage it does to how I view the Punk, you know.
He shouldn't even be allowed to use the name Punk, really, when he does stuff like that.
No,
right?
I mean,
That's the
it's-
furthest from a punk.
Yeah, like I think it's all great stuff for like maybe an eventual corporate version of CM Punk, which you can argue he already kind of is now, but like being a straight up heel.
He's the edgy comedian that went to Saudi with an approved list of jokes that would not be able to be said in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Like that's the comparison.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just a massive turnoff for me, and yeah, I think did a whole lot of harm for my perception of Punk this year.
The next topic is best.
Can I just say
yeah.
some honorable mentions
Oh, yeah.
to that?
Yes, yes.
You got-
In the same Cenaverse thing, R-Truth, you know,
Yeah.
being fired, coming back, cutting his hair, he's Ron Killing.
Ron Cena.
Nah, he's R-Truth. But let's not let AEW get away with some bad creative this year as well. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate, because I thought that was moving along quite nicely, seemed quite fresh and exciting. And then that was just dropped cold. They're like, oh, actually, Max, we don't like you. End of story.
Yeah.
Also with MJF versus Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett.
In Jeff Jarrett's final year as
never
an
got
active
it.
wrestler that just, they had like one real bad promo off together, and then we never saw Jeff Jarrett again. It was bizarre.
I'm waiting for that match. He said, yo, if you win the belt, like, I'll give you a shot. I'm waiting for that. MJF is champ now.
Yeah,
so.
the Jarrett final year deal kind of like just poof went into nothingness. I will say I do feel there has been something to the fact that AEW, like a year ago, we were talking about, Adam Copeland is clearly engaged, but it's like main characters on the show are Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, not to the same degree, but like Jarrett was all over your television. And it's something you can say that like AEW, like the median age certainly got younger for a lot of the performers, where it's not necessarily, outside of Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, like this is a company that it feels more youthful as well. And maybe that's a little ageist, but that was a big complaint that people had of like all these spots. And if you're going to sign an Adam Copeland, yes, he commands a big story and a lot of television time. And Jericho as well, like was gone most of the year. And I think that did open up a lot of spots that you could, foster for your Kyle Fletchers and your Jet Speeds and others that it feels as well like you're building for your future as well.
Like there was a lot of bad storylines and angles in WWE that I hated and I tried to block out and stuff. But when it comes to AEW, the Jeff Jarrett MJF, but also I just have to throw it out because we might not mention it, but the Death Riders kidnapping the Rock and Roll Express. I love when old dudes get kidnapped in wrestling.
Why do they keep going to watch Dynamite? They've been kidnapped
should
like
not
3
go.
times. They've been pile driver.
Robert
safe.
Gibson can't give up a comp ticket, okay?
Oh my God.
They're going to get
Like,
Rikishi this year.
these guys should know better not to go to AEW. Like every time they went, they got beat up or kidnapped. So I just thought that was something that, I don't know, was pretty funny to me. But